Hey guys, Dev here at WeBuyHouses.com and welcome to the Cash Offer Masterclass, episode number 14. I'm really excited about this show today because we're looking at a property that's right here in my backyard and right in the zone of the kinds of things we like to buy in Arlington and the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is basically, a 322 rental candidate that's in a good neighborhood. And so this looks like one. I also like the ARV right off the bat. I'm going to show you the research on it, and they say it's in pretty good condition. We're going to jump into the photos. As usual, I haven't seen them, so we're seeing the house together for the very first time. This is from Blue Bonnet Properties. I really appreciate what they do as a wholesaler, and if you're a wholesaler, I would say look at what Blue Bonnet and what Fazio do with these emails that perfectly showcase the opportunity for the cash buyer. If you're a cash buyer and you're interested in this property or anything in Dallas-Fort Worth or North Texas, give them a call. Call Taylor at 469-283-6950. I have no association with Blue Bonnet. I just love that they show me pictures of houses and give me opportunities to buy these houses that they've gone and gotten under contract. They are a legitimate wholesaler here in North Texas. So let's jump into this deal. Like I said, I'm very excited. I want to see it. I know you do too. So the address, 1501 Harvest Hill Lane, Arlington, Texas, 76014. I've already done a little research as usual. I jumped over to Zillow. They say 226. The wholesaler says 260. They say 226, and if you look at price history on Zillow, they had it at 250 for here and 250 back there, and now they've dropped it down to 226. That wouldn't be necessarily, wrong as far as we have seen a pullback in home values in North Texas. But if we jump over to Realtor has it at 251. And my property radar, which I can't show, had it at 271. And also they had this is on realtor.com, plugged in the address. 251 is their value. If you look at their real estimate, you can see at one point they were, they're showing CoreLogic had it at 276, Collateral Analytics at 259, etc. And it's currently, CoreLogic has it at 269, Quantarium. Well, I don't know what these things, I know what CoreLogic is, but I don't know Quantarium. But 242. Look, I think the 260 ARV is reasonable. I think it's reasonable. I'm over here. I think I'm a little high over here on my model. Let's catch a 261. What if I was at 220? Oops. Escape. What if I was at 229 per square foot? 260. Let's just go with their number. I think their number is supported by at least several of the sources that we've seen. Now, one of the things I would just say to you guys real quickly is I do think home values are pulling back. Even though interest rates just had a slight reduction, and so now you can get closer to a 6% 30-year mortgage. 6% still, prohibitive if the price of the house is too high. And so I just don't think rates are going to come down that much in the next year, and the thing that's going to break is the home values, and we're going to see home values, I think, in Texas could decline 8% over the next year. So one of my strategies as I would make offers on a property like this is I want that 8% now, because I think it's going to drop by that. So yeah, I do think 260 is well supported right now, but it may be closer to this situation here where the values have just kind of declined because there's no buyers in the market right now. Buyers don't want the 6% loans, and many of them are renting instead of buying right now because of the interest rates. So that's what's going on in the real estate market. Just beware that an ARV that we talk about today on one of these videos could very easily be lower if we looked at that same property 30, 90, 180 days from now. Okay, now we're jumping in. hit the photos. Let's go look at this thing. All right, we're starting right off with the outside condenser unit from 2008. What did they say? They said pretty good, right? They said roof good condition, HVAC good condition, and we don't know the condition of the slab foundation. Back into the pictures. Doesn't look bad. I mean, it's old. It's not that new, but it doesn't look horrible. Something. Oh, looky there. And so there is some foundation issues. And you've had some settlement. This house was built, I think, 1968 is what they're saying. And yeah, here in North Texas, we have, I guess, clay in the soil that expands and contracts and causes these kinds of problems. You can see a little bit of repair right in there as well. So I've experienced some of that. That I think is some kind of cable coming in, like cable TV or something. It doesn't look like an electrical box. But look at that roof up there. There's a blue tarp on this roof. They said roof good. Generally blue tarp, no bueno. Generally no bueno. That is not, I mean, we'll see. We'll look for better pictures. Well, that's interesting. You know what you might do with that. That's interesting. Somebody spent some time and effort on that, and I have no idea what it is. What it is. Okay, we're in the house. We're in one of the bedrooms. It's hard to tell if that's popcorn. We'll see it in others. It's kind of a, typical room. We generally look at a house, particularly, I mean, these guys are coming out at 165. That's a significantly discounted house, so we're expecting to see that it needs to be painted, flooring. That bathroom's not horrible. I would, if that's a 1968 toilet, I would replace it with a new toilet from Lowe's. They're like $139. It's like not a big deal. But honestly, it doesn't look horrible, and it looks it's dang near what you'd call rent ready. As far as this stuff goes. Yeah, look, there's something going on there. Look at that. I think that's electrical tape. Trying to prevent something from occurring right there. Probably water going into a hole around that or something. Maybe they had to replace that or something. There's a plumbing issue there. Help me remember that. Plumbing issue. And yeah, vanity. Yeah. It's not horrible, but again, it does look like, things. Once you get in there, you're going to find that there's going to be places the texture needs to be repaired and painting and all that kind of stuff. So we're assuming full cosmetic, especially looking at something like that where the flooring's kind of all worn out and you got purple walls, which most people don't want. So generally, we don't use purple as one of our colors in renovation. Really hard to see with these photos. These photos aren't great. It would be awesome if the photos were of much higher quality for the cash buyer to make an assessment, kind of remotely like we're doing here today. Just a different view from that room. Full cosmetic, no big deal. The fans all got to go. Looks like the master because it has a big bed and it's got tile in it. Don't like tile in the master. If I was going to rent it, it would be fine. If I'm going to sell it, I would put a low, like a Berber type carpet or something in there that's warmer. Or if you want a surface like this, you'd go with like a wood laminate or LVP or something like that, Not tile. Tile is bathrooms and kitchens and sometimes entryways. Can't see a lot. The picture's kind of dark. This house doesn't look that bad. I mean, to be honest, look at that. I mean, they've got, the nice framed door. These are more modern doors than what we had in 1968, I think, which would have just been flat panels. So there's been a little bit done. They've got little crown molding up there. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. This would be the bathroom off the master. I think a lot of this texture is in rough shape. The things I can see in the photos, and it's again, it's kind of, what are you trying to bring the house to? Are you trying to bring it to rent ready, or are you trying to bring it to, optimal value? And if you're doing optimal value, you'd probably retexture some of this area. Maybe replace the moldings with new moldings. If they've been painted over 3-4 times, molding starts to lose its details, as you well know if you've seen that. And so, sometimes it's not that much to go in there and just kind of tear all this molding out, or trim. Maybe I should be calling it trim, and then retexturing and retrimming, and it would look nice and pop and look fresh. Just the difference in how you might treat it depending upon your exit strategy. Main living area. What are they watching? Let's see. We're watching Paramount. I told Joe I feel. Yeah, I don't know. He told Joe something. It's on Paramount. All right, so the room looks okay. They painted it while there was a TV here. That's what I think. And they didn't take the TV off the wall. They just painted around it. I think that's what they did there. Or they just was a painting there and they thought, hey, don't want to move the painting. Something like that. That flooring doesn't look horrible. If they had that in the whole house, it would really be nice versus that tile we saw. But yeah, you come in here and paint all that. Maybe keep that floor. Unless there's something wrong with it. Unless you're trying to match everything, you're going to come in and do like an entirely new floor through the whole house. You might be able to keep this floor. I kind of like that, like the vaulted ceiling with the beam, and gives it a little presence for a small house, only like 1,200 square feet. It does have a 2-car garage, like most of us probably, filled with junk we will probably never use again. Right, laundry room. Again, everything just looks, this stuff has been painted over so much you can't see anything anymore but globs of paint. And so that's rent ready. That's fine. Getting it to optimal ARV, top ARV 260, 270. You really need to retexture and repaint. And, even like many of the cabinet doors, I think could have a lot of paint on them. Let's look at the kitchen ones. Look, say they don't look as horrible, but look at that ceiling in the kitchen. We've had some work done up here. Maybe because of a water leak or something like that. Something happened up there. Could be that they added these lights, and that looks like some repair happened up there. Some repair up there, my friends. And look at that. It just looks very old. Very old. We like to freshen that kind of stuff up. There we see the ceiling. Something major happened here. Remember the roof? The blue thing on the roof? I bet it's above this spot. That flooring continues through the hall. The, multiple multiple paint surface, what do you call it? Coats. I was trying to think of coats. Multiple coats of paint. How many coats of paint since 1968? Look, at least these guys painted. I've seen some houses from 68 that they didn't do anything. Okay, we're at the end, and the house, just looking at it, we did see a little foundation issue, and okay, this is a serious issue right here. right here. What I'm seeing, number one, you see this is breaking apart over here, but look at that. This driveway has fallen away from the foundation of the home, that it goes into the garage. The driveway has fallen by what appears to be, 3 to 8 inches. It's pretty significant. You couldn't pull a car in that garage. You'd have to replace that driveway. That's $9,000. It depends. I know there's guys out there going, oh, my brother could do it. Whatever. 6, whatever. That's not insignificant. We have to, in our model, we have to throw in, I'm throwing in $9,000 because the whole thing's got to be torn up, removed, repoured to the right angle into that garage. I've never seen that in Arlington that much. I've seen a little bit of a transition between the poured concrete of the driveway and the slab of the home, but nothing like that. There's definitely foundation issues here. Now, and sometimes the foundation issues have been repaired and you're just seeing kind of the aftermath of it. That's something to find out. I would definitely find out in talking to the wholesaler. Well, we've looked at all the pictures, spent a lot of time on this one. We're going to agree with the guys at Blue Bonnet that it could be worth $260. Oh, this is from the old. Sorry, guys. This is from the last video. All right, we're going to jump in here. Full cosmetic. Yes. Not that bad because it's not that big of a house. General repairs. I'm going to have full general repairs as well because everything was old. That just means there's a lot to fix and update in there. We don't know of any electrical or plumbing problems. No, they didn't. Did they tell us anything about that? No, they didn't mention electrical and plumbing. I like when the top 5, the big 5 are covered under here. If I could give any input, I would just say they should cover electrical, plumbing, HVAC, foundation, and roof so that we know what we're dealing with. I am throwing a full foundation at that thing. That's just the driveway, honestly. If that house needs a foundation, if it needs guys to go in there and level it, it's, $7 to $9 grand. But that driveway, just having to remove that driveway is very expensive and then pour the new one. So I might even go 1.5. It's 13,000. Why am I doing that? I'm doing that because 9,000 I'm putting for the driveway, and then I'm allowing some, because these are 2 different things, and I'm just kind of sticking the driveway in there. They said HVAC good, roof good. We did not see roof good, unfortunately. We saw there was a blue tarp up there. If we threw a full roof at it, Yep. That's what I would do. And remember in the kitchen, that whole, the ceiling, something either happened there, water came through, or they did some sort of construction, and removed that section and reconstructed it for some reason. I'm going to assume there was some sort of damage. And with the blue tarp on there, I'm very concerned about that. Now, what might happen is in a conversation with the wholesaler, they may say, oh, no problem. They fixed the roof. The blue tarp isn't there anymore, blah, blah, blah. And we might come in here and just say, we're going to zero that back out and take our offer back to 150. But if it needs a roof, our offer would be 142. And so let's just recap. Where are we? Our offer estimate, we believe the house is worth $229 per square foot in perfect condition and that it needs $35 per square foot of repairs to get it to that condition. It's an 1,138 square foot property. The ARV, we agreed with Bluebonnet, is around 260 right now. And by applying our discount factor of 70% and subtracting the repairs, we arrive at our cash offer, which is $142,591, assuming it needs significant roof replacement or repair. And so that's where we're at. We are at 142, and if the roof has been fixed, we're at 150. They're at 165. Look, it's not a horrible deal. It's just for us, I think it takes too much. This is not a huge profit on this property. It's not a hugely expensive property. And to take, to spend 15 more than is allowed by our budget here would be difficult. But as a rental, maybe you get in there, buy it at 165, 165, and you put 30K in of, your own work, and then you've got a rental property that's in pretty good condition. You're in at 200K, and it's going to rent for, I don't know, close to like 17, maybe 18. Not a bad rental. So these deals, they just may not meet my cash offer criteria, but it doesn't mean they're horrible deals. And so, and to buy a house in Arlington for 165, although it does need more work than I think they may have seen, still not a bad deal. So, hey, thanks, Bluebonnet. And again, if you had any interest, Taylor, there's the number for Taylor right there. No association with me. I just appreciate them being my victim today on Cash Offer Masterclass, episode number 14. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.